Welcome back to Things I'll Take It From Here, the podcast where we deep dive into TV, film, and books, breaking down all of the stories that make us feel something. Whether it's rage, sadness, shock, or all three at once, we're unpacking it all. Today we're diving into episode 5 of The Summer I Turned Pretty season 3. This week had it all. Conrad's POV, Adam's side piece getting promoted to wedding planner, Jeremiah spending more on a cake than Belly's ring, and Belly roping her ex into running errands for her wedding to his brother. Pure chaos, and I'm breaking it all down. And because I can't help myself, I've also got a pitch for a potential New York City spinoff with Taylor, Steven, and Denise. It's giving the same messy love triangle energy, just a new city and new drama. So let's get into it. This episode opens with Conrad on the roof talking to his dad. He basically tells Adam, if you don't support this wedding, it's gonna happen anyway, and you'll lose Jeremiah if you try to stop. And Adam fires back with, like I lost you. That's when we see Conrad kind of spiral in his head. He's realizing he's lost all respect for his dad and any desire to be like him because of what he did to their mom. Now, that moment is huge because let's keep in mind that Jeremiah wants nothing more than his dad's approval. And that's because he knows nothing about this affair. We know Jeremiah is a huge mama's boy, so imagine how furious he will be when he finds out. And on top of that, the betrayal he's gonna feel when he learns that Belly and Conrad have been keeping this from him for years. I've said it before, but Jeremiah finding out could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It could finally make him ask, does he want to be like his dad, the cheater? Does he want to keep letting the people he loves treat him like a kid? Maybe this is what forces him to grow up, and I'm curious to see if that's gonna get played out later on in the show. Anyway, this scene really hit for me because I know what it's like to have a disappointing parent, but we're analyzing fictional characters, not me. In the scene, Conrad says once Jeremiah and Belly get married, he won't think of her in the way that he does now, which is very lovey-dovey. And I'm sorry, it's been years. I don't think a ring, a piece of paper, and a party is suddenly going to change that. I think Conrad's being a little delulu here. Look, don't kill me, but I'm just asking. If 4 years hasn't been enough for him to get over her, would marriage really change anything? Like, I get first loves are hard and there's no timeline for falling out of love, but at the same time, y'all, 4 years is 4 years. Like, I know some people online have been saying they think it's a little weird he's still not over her. I don't necessarily share that opinion, but you know I'm gonna report all of the tea that people are talking about. Then we get to the office. Steven and Taylor have an awkward run-in. Besides Taylor calling Belly to cancel, plus Steven's office scenes in the train ride with Denise, we really don't get much of these two this episode, which I know some of you were secretly happy about. Speaking of Steven and Denise, that train ride to New York City, yeah, those two clearly like each other and everyone seems to see it except them. Honestly, I'd love a spinoff with these two in New York, maybe even Taylor, if she gets her internship back or lands something new. You know, same messy love triangle energy, just in a new city. And it actually makes sense too, because Steven and Denise have both said in multiple episodes that they hate their jobs and feel like what they're doing is meaningless. They both are also interested in the gaming industry, and this trip to New York City is for a gaming conference. Perfect networking opportunity for them to land new jobs, maybe. And Taylor already had a potential gig in the city, so getting her there wouldn't be too much of a stretch. To make it even messier, I throw in either Taylor's or Steven's ex. I think adding even one of those people they cheated on will add drama and force some character growth from both characters. But that's my New York City spinoff pitch that I can see them doing. But I'm gonna get back to the office plot. So Jeremiah gives Steven a hard time for not making a move with Denise because of Taylor. And then all three of them debate who's gonna stay behind to go over a final report. They ultimately let Jeremiah do it, of course, very hesitantly, because the counting's already been over it twice. Which is strange because somehow Jeremiah, who has basically been a glorified Uber Eats app for his dad, manages to find a major problem that accounting missed. Does anyone else find that super suspicious? Because I do. Look, I'm not saying the dad is embezzling funds. I'm not saying he's not doing that, if you know what I mean. And the way Adam quickly gave his approval and money to Jeremiah after Jeremiah supposedly found this issue. Real suspect. Then we go back to cousins and Belly casually says to Conrad, "Hey, future brother-in-law." And y'all, just imagine saying that to the guy you lost your virginity to while asking him for a ride to run errands for the wedding you're planning with his brother. This show is so unhinged, but that's why we eat it up, right? Like, that's why we're all here. But I won't lie. I was low-key smiling when she was struggling with her bike and Conrad still didn't give homegirl a ride. But I'm not cold-hearted. The flashback of Conrad giving Belly his bike and waiting for her, I thought was really sweet. This man really has loved this woman his whole life. Meanwhile, Belly is spiraling in a cake shop over a $750 cake. And can I just say, this whole scene was peak cringe. She went from calling Jeremiah her boyfriend to her friend to saying the wedding was an event to a birthday. She was all over the place. Sure, part of it was trying to get the price down, but another part felt like pure embarrassment over the wedding in general. She ends up settling on chocolate cupcakes and leaves. And while she's struggling to get all of her bags balanced on the bike, Conrad pulls up and decides to help. And Belly, she actually catches a little attitude saying, "You're busy, remember? I'll bike." All I can say is this is really about to be the summer I turn these hands on Belly. In the car, they talk about how geeky Conrad was as a kid with his stamp collection and the Lord of the Rings subreddit he used to moderate. They make 3 stops. The first at the flower shop, which was awkward, but kudos for Conrad for offering solutions instead of calling Belly and Jeremiah brokey like I would have, because they really just have nothing but the audacity. Now, in between the flower shop and Michael's, Jeremiah mansplains chocolate and says that he isn't willing to compromise on the $750 cake because it's his one thing. Belly is better than me because I would have said Conrad's my one thing and hung up. He says put it on a card and he'll pay it off later. Now, people were trying to drag me online for making fun of that ring, but now I feel vindicated because he was clearly willing to spend more money on chocolate than carrots on her ring. When he hangs up on her, Belly spirals. Conrad, having the hero complex he has, says, "Let's go to Michael's," which I know he regretted because he says at Michael's, "For a second, I forgot it's not me that's marrying her," which that was so sad, but also big yikes. But after Michael's, I was glad when he opened up to Belly and told her how and why he lost his job. I think they both needed to see him not as a hero and perfect all the time, and I think that moment was really important for both those characters, and it was just overall really sweet. Now we have to talk about their final stop before going to the house. And yes, I'm talking about the peach scene. The peach scene has had the internet in a tizzy. It was just so significant because it was quiet and intimate, and it exposed just how deep Conrad's feelings for Belly still runs, despite this wedding looming. By framing it from Conrad's perspective, the show turns a simple gesture into a powerful symbol of longing, unresolved love, and the possibility of a second chance. This scene was so intense and dramatic that Belly had to bring up Jeremiah's name to cut the tension. When they head back to the house, they have this moment where they cook together, eat, drink, talk, and laugh like a couple that's been married for years. Then we get that flashback of an intimate scene between the two. It was very spicy, y'all. I swear I have never seen her have this chemistry with Jeremiah. Like, am I wrong? I'm not. And even at the dinner table, when we jump back from the flashback and they're at the dinner table, it's just so cute and it's sweet and it's a moment that's filled with love and a lightness that we really just don't see with Belly and Jeremiah, especially this season. And then Jeremiah comes in saying, "Honey, I'm home." Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, that pissed me off. And not only did that piss me off, but the rest of the episode pissed me off so much because now Adam's side piece is planning the wedding at a country club that's for clients and Adam's staff. And Belly and Jeremiah really think this is somehow the wedding Susanna would have wanted. Somebody do a seance because I know she would wake up in confusion. But listen, I have an unhinged theory on how Kayleigh got roped into the wedding planning. I just know Adam's side piece was frustrated that they've been together for years without commitment, especially since his son is getting married before they are. And she's been around for what, at least 5+ years? She probably gave him an ultimatum saying, show me you're committed or I'm out. And instead of promising her a future, Adam probably swerved and manipulated her by inviting her to help plan Jeremiah's wedding. I just know Adam had the audacity to offer wedding planner instead of a ring, claiming this will show everyone how important she is to him. And Kayleigh, being the side piece that she is, probably took that as commitment. At this point, the girl has to be running on pure delusion and vibes. And 5 seconds later after they had that conversation, Adam told Jeremiah she'd be helping, but he was like, as my secretary, and had no mention of her being important to him or his girlfriend or anything like that. Y'all, I can't wait till the wedding gets called off and Adam is standing there embarrassed in front of all of his partners and staff and clients and looking dumb. And the crazy part is, if this happens, Kayleigh would now be a part of 2 marriages failing in the same family. Well, I guess 1.5, which still is crazy. But anyway, if you're interested to see how the convo between Adam and Kayleigh went, I posted a little comic strip on my Instagram at Take It From Here Pod, and you could go and see how that conversation would have gone. But like I said, the whole end of the episode pissed me off. Jeremiah acting like he's a corporate baddie who can speak on how the corporate world works is crazy. Sir, you have been an Uber Eats app for the corporate world for 5 minutes. This episode being called The Last Dance better be foreshadowing this as their last dance, because I'm tired, y'all. Also, notice how Conrad saw the 2 of them having a good time dancing and didn't shoot off a firework to ruin their moment. Very demure. Jeremiah could never, but it's also because he doesn't want to hurt his brother. In that last clip of the episode, we learned that Conrad made a promise to his mom on her deathbed, essentially, to always take care of his brother. And apparently that's why he distanced himself from Belly, which was heartbreaking to watch. But that's the whole plot breakdown. Now, what I think we can expect in the next episode is Belly and Jeremiah apartment shopping, maybe those trailer scenes of Belly at the loft in Boston. We could also maybe see the bridal shower, but that could also be episode 7 or 8. So I don't know if they're going to do that in the next episode, but I definitely think it's coming soon. We could also see Kayleigh and Belly start the wedding planning process. I'm really hoping the affair tea drops, because I think that would be such an interesting plot point to explore the fallout with all of these characters. And then maybe we'll even get to see Conrad trying to get Laurel to come to the wedding, because I don't know if you remember in this episode, Belly was at the flower shop and the person who worked at the flower shop asked if she needed an arrangement for her mom and then the mother of the groom, and she said no, and Conrad kind of made a face. I feel like that face means he's definitely going to have a convo with Laurel soon. And then of course we're going to see more Taylor and Steven and Denise love triangle drama. Thanks so much for listening. This has been another episode of Thanks I'll Take It From Here. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Take It From Here Pod, and please like, share, and subscribe. Heavy on the subscribe, because y'all, we are so close to my first 1,000 plays. Help a girly out. Also, I'm not above begging for a 5-star review, so this is me begging, pleading for you to pick me. Choose me to give that 5-star rating. Oh, and before I go, remember, if a man is willing to drop $750 on a cake, but not to keep your cake, he ain't worth it, boo.